All right, so this episode is completely different. We're doing it more podcast style. We're going to talk about C10 Slayer. This is going to be the episode before the Unveil, which is going to happen on the very next episode. But we just wanted to talk about some of the crazy times with the truck.
The highlights, the fun, the start.
And just really kind of bullcrap with you guys. So again, this is more podcast style. We've never done anything like this.
But we should, because it's actually kind of fun to do it with your son. And talking about a truck that went from a stock Grammy car, because that's what it looked like to me, anything stock, to this friggin' shake, rattle, and roll. So let's bring them through the step-by-step.
So you know my dad's C10?
Yeah.
The truck.
That thing's sick.
I'm going to blow it up.
No,
I'm just going. Corey. The truck's been a lot of work. The biggest thing we wanted in this truck is it to be different than anything we've ever seen. And my dad's and I's view of going to a car show is, what do you remember? You know, when you're walking through, do you remember a specific car for a specific reason? Was it just off the charts? Was it different, unique? And I think that's what C10 Slayer is. And we've wanted to create something like this for so long, and it is definitely wild.
Yeah, because a truck like this, it's very old school. You know, I look at, like Brad was saying, at Camaros and Mustangs and all these old cars. I mean, what else can you do to one? I mean, really, when you go to the Sema show, there's thousands of cars. Probably hundreds of Camaros, and they all are unbelievable. But you go from one to the next one to the next one, and unless you have pictures to go back through, you kind of forget what each one kind of looked like, because there's so much nice stuff to look at. And one thing that we've done a really good job at the Sema show is building stuff. Either you like it or hate it, but you walk away talking about it. And when Brad came to me with this project on the C10, I thought, okay, you're going to make a lot of hot rodders mad, because it's literally a beautiful truck that we got a lot of hate mail on because we kind of destroyed it, but we destroyed the stuff we weren't going to use.
Oh my God!
Right? Brad had us jumping it. Actually had me jumping it. I still got a little whiplash in my neck. Then he wanted to do a secretive smoke show. I don't know if you guys seen the episode where he wanted to pull it up next to the building and get the tires smoking and see how long it took to pop them. And
so we'll just cut to that real quick.
Yeah, okay, that's a good.
Let's cut to it.
All right, so we're doing a little something today.
So we do that, and it took a long time to pop the tire.
We thought it was going to blow up first before the tire
Yeah,
popped.
but what was fun is that thing's sitting against a C-train, and it's just boiling them tires. I mean, the thrill of that was pretty stupid, and we were doing it because we weren't using none of the transmission, rear end, none of it.
Yeah.
Motor, nothing. And we put a chunk of aluminum on the gas tank, and I got out of that thing and just sitting there watching that thing doing a smoke show with nobody in it.
Funny. We were ghost riding it.
That was one of the funnest. Let me go to your second brainiac idea. Brad's all, hey, if we put a smoke bomb in the carburetor and it's blue, will it come out the exhaust blue? And at first I thought, is this kid for real? But then I thought, I don't know if it'll go through the engine and come out blue. So go ahead and tell them what you did with the smoke bomb.
It did. We put that smoke bomb in the carb and revved
about 5 of them.
Revved that sucker up, and blue came out the exhaust.
I gotta admit that was actually pretty funny because we weren't using the motor either. The motor was tired.
There was a lot of challenges, and again, this is podcast style, and we haven't done this before, so we're just kind of shooting the crap with you guys. But
I wish we had call-in, because call-in would be fun, because we have been hit with a ton of questions. And I know we've given a lot of feedback back, but I don't think anybody can really understand what kind of work goes into a vehicle like this. Imagine going home and being with your spouse for 9 months, 12 hours a day, and you're making something.
Oh.
You're going to get in some arguments, right? But me and Brad, I think we were just having so much fun. Did we even argue?
Just at the end, we just started getting over it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end we were getting, I think, more tired. But I think we were having so much fun that if he was having a bad day, I'd be on him and making him laugh, or vice versa. But when you build a build like this from the ground up, and we did have some unexpected things that we didn't plan on, like when Brad had me jump the truck again, when we landed, and it wasn't even that big of a jump. We didn't realize the floorboard was so rusted out that it literally, the frame came through the cab. And so now we're sitting here with a truck that we bought, and we bought a little nicer truck so we didn't have to buy a bunch of parts. But it was a painted over piece of crap rust.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, and once we jumped it, and then Brad takes out all the seats, he's looking at it, and he's all, Dad, now we got to rebuild the whole floorboard.
Well, we realized after my dad jumped the truck, we crushed all the body mounts. So this body mount shoved back into the factory cab about a 1/4 inch. And everything basically, long story short, is just jacked up in this truck. So,
Like, what are you talking about? I go look at it, and what, am I
Why
right?
would you jump it?
You told me to jump it, and you set the ramps out, and you said go.
Oh no, slow down, slow down!
But literally, that, like, even those little things like that, it's probably better that happened. Because if we would have put it all together and then not really seen how bad the rust was because it was so covered up, I mean, it would have been tragic.
Yeah. What would you say, explaining to everyone, your favorite parts of the build were?
Oh, my favorite part, obviously, is horsepower. I mean, I love to hear a blower on a vehicle. It's my favorite sound, that winding. That the more I can
Explain
hit that.
the sound. Hey, is that the sound you'd explain to people that may not have heard that in person?
No, that's the blower. So you got the and then as you're gassing up, putting fuel to that sucker, you got that thunder, that rippling, that and then you got the do the wheel, do the
All right.
Come on!
All right, here we go. Ready?
So my favorite part is the engine, because I love horsepower. I love the looks of a big V8. I love the looks of that big old friggin' Whipple supercharger.
And tell everyone why that thing sticks up higher than any other supercharger.
Well,
What did Dustin at Whipple do to it?
Well, what Dustin at Whipple did for me is he said, look, I can machine a manifold to go on top of that LS, and I could use my 5-liter blower, which is equivalent to like a 1071, and that's a big blower. I mean, it's friggin' huge. And he goes, and I think I could gain probably about 8 more inches than a normal system that we'd put on there. And I'm like, raise that sucker up.
It literally, the stacks are, I would say, probably 2 inches from the roof line.
Oh yeah. I was backing him out. Here we get this thing, we're all done. And I'm backing him out, and he stops, and I'm like, go. And he puts his head out, he goes, I can't see you through the motor, remember?
It's honestly a pretty big blind spot, but it looks.
I wasn't even paying attention. Instead, I'm looking at the freaking motor, and I'm not even looking at Brad, but he can't even see me, so I couldn't even back him up.
What would you say the lowest of lows on the build was for you?
The lowest of lows?
Like where you were just like not happy.
Oh gosh. I mean, I hate to say it, but we had quite a few of those.
We have.
When you build something from the ground up, it's hard not to have the lows. It's part of the build.
And the other thing that you guys need to realize is it's my dad and I. We brought in a few people to help us, like Garrett killed it on the sheet metal. But
Oh,
but it was a lot of work, all of us
We
together.
would have never finished.
And we brought in a few people to like scan the truck and things like that. But we don't have a huge team like the majority of the big builders have. You know, it's just him and I, and the build changes as we go through it. So it always starts as one thing, but then it changes, and we completely throw everything away and restart until it's right, at least right in our eyes.
Well, that's what makes it fun and makes it what's a good build, because I've watched Brad work on something for 2 days. And then he gets so mad, he's like, forget it! I should have just done it the other way. And he cuts it all out, you know, throws it, and he's got this massive attitude because he just wasted 2 days. And it's just part of it. But Brad asked me a question a minute ago of what was the worst part of the build. And here's the worst part, and here's how things happen. We're all done. All we got to do is paint the cab, paint the doors, and we're on our way.
Oh.
So
I didn't even film this.
Yeah, it was bad. And so we have everything scheduled for a Saturday and Sunday because we got to be done because we're only a week and a half away before we got to be at Sema show.
And
so,
keep in mind, just to put this in a time frame, this is maybe 3.5 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was 3.5. Yeah.
From right now.
Yeah. So the worst part that we did not show is we have a painter, Austin, that is, I mean, he paints $100,000 vehicles and up. I'm talking just paint and body work. The guy is
unbelievable. Second
to nobody. He is unbelievable. And so Austin gets in there, and we're all excited. We're getting ready to film, and he starts spraying. And as he's spraying, he's shaking his head. And he says, "There's water in the airline." So I run out there, and I think, okay, well, maybe there is. So I ran, and I got filters. Come back, took me about 2 hours to find these filters. So he starts spraying again, and the paint is just bubbling everywhere. Every time he sprays. And he goes, "No, the air is contaminated. It's got to be the air." So now we're sitting here, and I think, okay, so I go get our nitrogen bottles for our racing. And I bring 4 nitrogen bottles back with brand new filters. So for those of you who don't know what nitrogen is, it's clean air. All the water that you could almost get out of it is taken out of it. And we use it in our tires so it doesn't expand as fast and as much. So now I know we got pure air. He gets that gun out again. Now he's spraying another part of the truck. This is fish-eyeing everywhere. And we're like sick. I mean, here we are on Saturday and Sunday. We spent all Saturday and all Sunday sanding and trying to get all of these fish eyes out of the paint. Never did happen. So Monday morning, Austin goes back to work, and he takes another brand new can of the same stuff and he sprays it, and the panel's perfect on a practice panel. Then he basically sticks the gun in the one we're using, and it bubbles all over. So now we call the manufacturer. Manufacturer calls back about 20 minutes later and says, "Oh my gosh, we changed solvents and we have tons of this paint out there, and we're sorry." I don't know if you guys seen Jim Carrey in Mask, where he takes the hammer and he starts hitting himself on the head. Here we are, 3 weeks away.
This has to happen to us too.
Yeah, 3 weeks away, and we got a truck that the whole thing is orange peel. That was the worst part of the build for me.
Yeah, and you guys didn't even really know that story, so I'm glad you brought that up. We've had many things like that, but you know, we try and keep our episodes always on the up and up and happy, because we're not really drama people. We don't.
No. That's why we didn't show it.
We don't like creating drama to, you know, build the hype. We just show you guys what it is and all the fun, and that's how we keep it. But that was definitely a low.
So Brad, let me ask you, since you asked me, and I already know what Brad's going to say. I should write it down on a piece of paper. What is your favorite part of this build, besides the engine? Because I already said the engine.
My favorite part is when that wide body showed up.
Oh gosh, look at that.
I knew he was going to say that. And he's right. That was a good idea.
Oh gosh. Man, because the wide body, like...
How'd you come about it too, though, as you're talking
Well, you see like this crazy 6-wheel, no one knows what we're building, and people don't have the renderings that we've had since the beginning, that we created with Yasad, and then with Jesse and the John. No one's seen any of that, so we knew the whole time what the truck was going to be, and the wide body brought the whole truck together, because people knew it was wild with this huge engine that my dad somehow sourced and found, and the crazy wheels in the back, and just what it was, and when we put the wide body on the truck, it changed it. It gave it a crazy mean low stance, it made the truck look like what it is, just crazy.
Looked like it'd been injected with 5 million cc's of testosterone.
All I can say is when you work on something as long as my dad and I have, I think there's just as many bad moments as there are good. But at the end of the day, the truck's finally done, and now it's time for us to enjoy it. So on the next episode, that's what I can't wait for. I didn't really know what to do on this episode, to be honest with you guys, because we're unveiling this at the Sema show. And we decided, after the last episode we showed, to just kind of leave it to where no one else sees what we did in the finishing of the rear wide body and everything. But we're going to unveil it at the Sema show, and it's going to be in HP Tuner's booth, which is 23365, and it's going to be on Tuesday at 2 p.m. So that's when you guys are going to be watching live for those of you that are not at the Sema show. But when we pull off that black cover, this thing, I can't wait to show you guys, because this is finally our excitement.
It actually turned out way better than I thought it was. I mean, I got to admit, and I even showed a guy yesterday, which is an older guy than me, probably by 15 years, and he fell in love with the thing. And he's not even like a car guy. He flipped. So, like Brad said, the unveiling of this thing, it's worth just us talking a little bit about it and bringing a recap in case you guys want to go out and rewatch some of the build up to this. And it's going to be a good one. The unveiling is going to be really good. But I think the next one where we dyno it and then we go actually test this thing and we have all 4 tires smoking, they're just going to get better and better and better.
From this point on, I've had a lot of people, and we love the feedback, don't get me wrong. So good or bad, we want feedback. But from today on, it's kind of fun for us because we always have people that love, just show some more of the welding, show this. But then we also have the other half. It's like, dude, stop all that boring stuff. Just get to the finishing.
That's me.
And yeah, that's my dad. So for everyone that is on that side, we're at the finishing. So we're done.
It's coming.
And so the unveiling is going to be awesome. But like my dad said, after the Sema show, it's going to be unbelievable because there's going to be so much content on this channel. And all the things we're doing with it, it's just going to be pure fun. I just want to point out before we end this, I just want to thank everyone that has watched up to this point and that has supported my dad and I. We have a lot of things going on, and we just love hearing from you guys and all the feedback, because that's what keeps us fired up. So if you guys are giving, again, good feedback or bad, it helps us decide what to do in the next episode. So
even good ideas and different ideas, it takes, we listen to everybody when we build.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've never owned anything that's red, and the reason why that C10 Slayer outside is red is because of you guys.
Yeah, I would have never done the red, but it
looks sick.
Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna.
And again, as always, we couldn't even have this truck if it wasn't for everyone that helped us out, because we couldn't afford a truck like that. And because all of our sponsors came together and helped us and kind of know what we did in our past with all of our other wild projects, they all hopped on board and helped us. So that's why the C10 Slayer is what it is. And Dad, you want to just close this?
I'm going to close with, look, we only use the best of the best of parts 100% all the time. So whatever you see on that truck and you want something on your truck or car or whatever it might be, those are the parts you want. And I'm just going to say that the Sema unveiling is going to be insane. I want your feedback. Like Brad said, I hate the bad feedback. I got to admit, I hate negative, but I know,
we need it.
Yeah, not everybody's going to like it. But it's always usually 95% great feedback, and I think you guys are going to love this thing. When you watch it, give us your feedback, give us your likes, give us, tell everybody that you can about this thing. We're going to really promote it this year. I mean, that's going to be our biggest thing, is promotion on the truck. And I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Don't forget to share the unveiling video, because that is going to be insane. Oh, gosh. Let's get out of here.
Let's do it.